Working against the market. Okay. It reads, even though some financial advisors warn you against the strategy in the space provided, please explain how the strategy of working against the market seems to help investors to make little investments. Okay, so a lot of people, including Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett, of course, is probably the most successful stock market investor in human history. And he tells you, don't do this. Many people would say, don't do this, okay? And they're probably right in most cases because, for example, during the Great Recession 2008 to 2011, about 10 million families lost their homes. So, you know, there are some risks to investing, of course. There are risks to just living. You know, you're alive, there's risks, right? Unfortunately, a few years ago, one of our students was killed in a car accident. You know, somebody hit. She was driving a small car and she made a left turn and somebody hit her on the, I suppose, the driver's side and killed her. So, I mean, there are risks and everything. You know, nobody knows when the number is going to come up. Right now, so far in the United States, we've had, I think, over 700,000 COVID deaths, over 5 million COVID deaths in the world. So there's risk in everything, apparently, okay? And including investing. So you have to kind of know what you're doing. And you need good advice. You need good advisors, okay? Not just me as an instructor, but other people as well to advise you. And check one point of view against the other, right? Okay, this person says this, that person says that, person says this other thing, and then you make your decision based on what you think is the best for you. But this can work. You can work against the market and make money. This can work if you know what you're doing. Okay. So let's go to A here, and it reads: besides hope and regret, what are the two major investor motives? Okay, I need to type this up. Okay, so the first thing that people have is hope, at least in this country. In some countries, I think it's hopeless. Okay, but in this country, people have hope. They hope to be rich and successful. Okay, of course. Okay, so when they find out that asset values are rising, meaning like home prices are going up, stock market values are increasing, whatever, Bitcoin is going up, whatever, okay, they get greedy. Okay, so that would be number two. They get greed, they feel greed or get greedy. Okay, they want to get something. Then when we hit a recession or a downturn and prices begin to drop, price of homes or prices of the stock market, of any investment instrument, they start to feel number three, which is fear. They get very scared. Okay. And number four, in some cases, they have a regret. They regret what they did. Okay. Not all cases, but in some, the people who lose, of course, they have regret. The people who don't lose don't have any regret. Okay. So B here reads, explain the phenomenon of the business cycle and how you can use this knowledge to your advantage. Okay. So to explain this, we have to talk about the business cycle. You know, another way to talk about business cycle is oh boy. Okay, well, here is let's talk about the yin and yang. It's basically the same thing, I would say. Well, okay. So, okay, the only thing is somebody sent me a message and I replied to him, you guys. Let me do this real quick. Okay, that's two. 2 is greed. 3 is fear. And 4 is regret. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so we know that the business cycle has peaks and valleys, ups and downs, which is the same principle as yin and yang, right? The principle of yin, which is an Asian idea. The principle of yin and yang says that if there's something good, there's something bad's going to come with it. If you're having a bad time, a good time's coming, right? That good and bad are interconnected for some reason, you know, and there's a lot to be said for that idea, okay? And same with the business cycle, right? If you're at the top of the market, you know what's coming next, okay? You know we're going to come into a downturn. That's just the way it is. And if you're at the bottom of the market, like say in a recession, you know what's coming next, which is recovery, okay? And that's the principle of yin and yang, and I don't think we can escape it. The governments are doing their darnest, the best they can to try to avoid the yang, you know, of a market downturn. And so far they've done pretty well, but I think it's impossible, to be honest with you. You can forestall it, okay, delay it, whatever, but it'll catch up with you sooner or later, probably. Okay. Anyway, so how do you work against the market and make money? First, let me explain when it doesn't work. Okay. Now, people again have hope and they feel greed when they see home value security values increasing. I'm going to use an example of homes because that's what I know best. I'm a real estate practitioner, so that's what I'm most familiar with. So when they see home values rising, they get greedy, and sometimes they buy at the top. So I'm talking about the Great Recession of 2008. Okay, and they wait too long, they buy at the top, and then when the market turns downward and they see prices decreasing, they feel a lot of fear. It could be the stock market, it could be gold, whatever investment instrument you're talking about, it has ups and downs. So when they see prices dropping, in the case of homes in 2008, they get very scared, okay? And sometimes when they hit the bottom is when they get out. So they buy at the top, and when the market bottoms, they get rid of their investment, let's say their home. And in the process, they lose everything, okay? They lose their down payment. They lose all the monthly payments they've made so far. They ruin their credit. What I saw during the 2008 Great Recession is that first people lost their cars because they had bought their cars on credit. So in the middle of the night, this big truck would show up and they would load their car onto the big truck, and in the morning the car was not there anymore. Okay. So they lost their cars. Then they lost their furniture because they bought their furniture on credit. Then they lost their house. Then they got divorced, and they lost their family. So it's just a nightmare. And something like 10 million Americans lost their homes during the Great Recession. So it's a terrible thing. But it happens mostly because people don't know what they're doing. You know, they haven't been trained, and they don't understand the business cycle, the ups and downs of the business cycle. Because if they had just waited, eventually we had an expansion beginning in 2012, and we reached a new peak. And the new peak was higher than the previous peak. And like that. And eventually we'll have another recession, another valley. Okay, so that's to be expected. That's to be expected. Okay, if you think it's all going to be up, 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 good luck. I mean, even the great investors like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, they admitted that they've lost a lot of money. But I'm not talking, 10 tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking in the millions or billions of dollars, right? That they've lost through bad decisions. So you can't, unfortunately, we can't always win. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But as long as on the over the long term we win, that's fine. We won. You know, you with some losses and some wins, as long as on the balance you're ahead, you did a good job. Okay, so this is what happens, unfortunately, right? People wait too long to invest, and they bite the top. And when prices decrease, they get very scared, including myself. You know, I've been doing this for many years, and I understand the process. And when prices decline, I get very scared too. But I don't get out. That's the difference. I don't sell off my investments. I hang in there, and eventually we have recovery, and we have a new peak. And usually the new peak is higher than the previous peak. Okay, so how do people use this understanding to increase their net worth? Okay, so the first thing is that if possible, you want to buy at the bottom. Like when prices are low or down, that's when you want to invest. Right? They call that buying when there's blood on the street. Okay, what they mean by that, in business they use the color black. I don't know if it's a color, but they use black. Maybe it's not a color. They use black to indicate profit gains, and they use red to indicate losses, because of course losses are like blood. You know, it's like you're bleeding to death. Okay, so you try to buy, say, a home or an investment security at the bottom if you can. Okay, and then they call this buying the dip. And then you wait for an expansion and the prices go up of, let's say, homes. And then when you get the top peak, at that point, if you can, you sell it, walk away with profit, invest a profit in a recession-proof investment, and wait for prices to drop, right? And then when prices drop, you come back into the market, okay, and you buy it again, buy another one maybe, and then you wait for another expansion, right? And you get to a new peak, and you do it again. If you can, you sell your investment security, walk away with the profit, invest the profit in a recession-proof investment, and wait for the prices to drop. Right? And you can do this like every 10 years of your life, because the span of time between each peak is about 10 years, and the span of time between each valley is also around 10 years, plus or minus. Okay, what that means is that you could do this in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, even your 60s, about 5 times. Okay. The only caveat is that once you get into your 60s, you need to have an exit strategy, because many people do die in their 60s, especially men. So if you want to enjoy your money and enjoy your life and have a good time while you're here, once you get into your 60s, you probably need an exit strategy. Like how do you get out of the market? Spend your money little by little, and live the best golden years possible. The golden years are like your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, 90s. Those are considered your golden years. And you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor in those decades, right? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 90s if you're a woman, okay? So then you have to have a strategy, an exit strategy at probably sometime in your 60s. Okay, so that's how it works. You're going to try to buy at the bottom, buy the dip, as they say. Wait for prices to increase. So that, in the case of a home, the price increase, okay. And then when you're at the top, if you can, you sell your house or your investment security, sell it for a profit, invest that money in a recession-proof instrument, which could be, say, index fund, ETF, They won't give you the kinds of returns that you can get through active investing, but at least will protect you from inflation at the minimum. And then you wait, right? You watch prices crash, which they often do, and then when you see the prices at the bottom, you come in again with your money. You do it again, and again you can do this about 5 years. So we've done this for quite a few decades. I don't care to say how many decades, but we've done this process for quite a few decades as a family, and we've done rather well. But keep in mind that we've been in the real estate industry for about 100 years as a family. So after 100 years, you learn a few things along the way, okay, of how to invest in the real estate market. And we're now financially secure. My mother, my younger brother, my wife and I, my youngest sister, we're no problem here. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next slide.